Hi there, extraordinary thinkers. Travathan here. Hey, we're back on the happiness series today, and we are going to do video number 9 of the happiness series. If you haven't watched this series, at the end of this I'll be putting some videos up top, and they will lead you to other portions of the series. My suggestion is to make sure you go down and subscribe. Be sure you hit the little notification bell. And please excuse me, I have to have a cough drop in my mouth right now. We've had heavy wind, and I live in the desert, and I don't do well with dust, and I've been plummeted with it, and more is on the way. So I'm gonna get this video done though. Okay, be sure you go down and subscribe. That way when these videos drop you will be notified. The happiness series is 12 videos altogether, and when I say yes, today we are doing video number 9, and this one is a kind of important one along the series because it's a big one. So what we're going to talk about today is limitations. In ordinary thinking, which is the common thinking of the day globally, you are actually trained to fight for your limitations. From the time you're a little kid, you're trained to fight for your limitations. And in fact, you're trained to fight. If someone disagrees with you, time to fight. It's like kind of crazy to me, but that's why I teach extraordinary thinking, which is the opposite of ordinary thinking. So this is going to be extraordinary thinking, and we're going to talk about limitations and an extraordinary way to deal with those limitations. So one of the things that will definitely make you unhappy is when you fight for your limitations. Now, some people would say to me, well, Lee, of course I've got to fight if somebody challenges me. They don't even realize that's a limitation. That's a limitation. It's an ordinary thinking limitation. So, let me think about that. Sorry, this cough drop has to be here. I'm going to make sure on my notes I don't miss anything today. So, when you fight for your limitations, and you probably everybody's heard what I'm about to say, if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. How does that help you? It doesn't. So if you are finding yourself in distress in any way, you might want to stop and think, well, why am I distressed? Is there some limitation right now that I'm fighting for? Do I want to be right? That's a limitation. So in extraordinary thinking, we review these things when we have a feeling that doesn't seem to be working out for us. We review it. We ask ourselves the question, what am I feeling right now? And then we kind of make a mental list. You can also write it down, and you can make a list of what you're actually feeling. And within that list, you can check to see, is there anywhere in there that I'm fighting for a limitation? So, surprisingly, wanting to be right all the time is a limitation. And almost everybody fights for it. So, what that means is that if you are fighting for some form of limitation in your life, you are making yourself less powerful to yourself than you can be. I like to say you get to be pitiful or powerful. You get to choose. So if you're fighting for a limitation, you're not really growing. And in extraordinary thinking, what we realize is if you recognize that you're fighting for a limitation, that within itself is growing, because then you can change that format. You can make a new choice. You can make a new difference for yourself in yourself. That limitation is simply showing you something about yourself that you need to know on the breadcrumb trail of life. It's giving you something to recognize, maybe to shift, to change, maybe to make a new decision about. And there is a video here called life is the waiter at the table, and really that limitation is saying, here's what you have. Now what do you want? And it's being the waiter at the table as life. Here's what you have. Now what do you want? So think about that a minute. A lot of the work of extraordinary thinking is just to make you aware of things you're not typically aware of. Sorry, yes, I know, allergies, I know. It's like itchy ear, runny nose, watery eyes. Yep, we're going to do this anyway. Okay, so one thing I want you to be aware of as you go forward to create more happiness for yourself is just take a look at where you are doing just what we talked about. Where are you fighting for your limitations? Where? Let's take, for instance, the idea that you feel you need to be right about something. If you feel you need to be right about something, it means you're trying to control something. But wouldn't it be easier if you just controlled yourself? I don't know, it's a novel idea, but think about it. Wouldn't it be easier if you just allowed people to have their opinions and you didn't try to change them? Wouldn't that make you happier? Because the reality is, in most cases, you're not going to change someone's opinion. You're not. So, excuse me again, you really have to ask yourself, what am I fighting for? If I want to be right, maybe I want to be right instead of being loved. And why I say that is not what you think. I'm not saying I'd rather be right than be loved by somebody else out here. I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is it's not being loving to yourself if you're fighting for a limitation like I want to be right. So would you rather be right? Sorry. Would you rather be right? Or would you rather love yourself enough to just not care whether somebody thinks you're right or not? In the end, does it really matter? Does it really matter? I'm not so sure it does. That's just my perspective. But as we're doing this happiness series, I'm just bringing up some things that I know to be specific as to why people are happy or unhappy. I was a therapist and I've been a coach for 42 years. I was a coach for over 20 years, and I mean a therapist for over 20 years. And it always did amaze me that people would find reasons to be unhappy. Like they'd make them up if they had to. They'd create something that wasn't even real because their agenda was that they were used to being unhappy. So here I was presenting them with reasons to be happy, and they were looking at me like I had 10 heads. Like sometimes it was that deer in the headlights thing. What do you mean I could be happy? Do you not understand how bad my life is? It's like, you can be happy, and do you not understand how you've screwed with your own mind to make sure you create situations where you are unhappy? And again, they would sit there in front of me and fight for the limitations. So when they were done doing that, and then they realized what they were doing, they go, oh, Lee, I get it. I feel so much better. It's like, I knew they'd get it. So all this work that I do in extraordinary thinking, and you can go back and watch a lot of videos on this channel, and you get a notepad out and just, you know, start writing stuff down, taking notes, start to learn extraordinary thinking. Extraordinary thinking, like I say, is the opposite of ordinary thinking, which is the common thinking of the day. And if you look around, you'll see that common thinking of the day does not work too well. Okay, so like right now, I'm seeing so much stuff go on here in the USA, and of course in Europe too, and other parts of the world, where people are fighting for limitations, and they don't have to, they don't need to, but they're going to do it because that's, again, like I said, we're trained from the time we're little kids to fight for our limitations. So go back through the channel, start with the happiness series if you want to stick with this, or just start going through the channel and looking at some of even the shorter videos that are on there are so helpful. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, go down below and hit the little subscribe button down there. Hit the little bell down there so that you get notified. I do a video every Sunday, it drops, and then throughout the week sometimes there's videos. So if you haven't hit the notification bell, you're not going to know when that happens. If you do, yay, you're going to get the alerts. So the other thing is I'm going to put down below a link to my, let me get this for you, to my latest book. There is the main book, there's 2 companion books, and there's an audio book. This is Loved Beyond Compare, and you'll see the link down below for Amazon. Yes, it's an affiliate link, but it doesn't cost you a penny extra to use it. It just helps the channel, that's all. And I would hope that you take a look at that. If you go onto my actual channel, you will see some bits and pieces from the book in the form of short videos. So they're under the motivation section, and I would strongly suggest you check those out too. So, thought for the day, are you fighting for limitations? Any limitation at all, are you fighting for it? Because guess what, if you are, you're fighting against yourself. And any against position, whether it's you against yourself, or you against the world, or you against some other person, or you against an idea, philosophy, an against position is going to create some dysfunction inside of you. We know that it even harms your immune system. So there's a lot of things that happen to you anytime you are standing against anything or anyone, even if it's all just in your mind. So that's another reason to not fight for your limitations, you know, and just live and let live. Let people be, you know, don't think you always have to be right about everything and all that, because that's one of the biggest problems with your happiness is like you can't be happy and be fighting for something at the same time. It doesn't really work that way. Some people can kind of make themselves think that's working, but it's not really working. If you look at your body and what's happening to your body and your brain at that time, if I had scopes on you, you would see it's not working out too well for you. So I'll catch you in the next video. Like I said, this is number 9. The next one will be number 10 of 12. So make sure you start at the beginning of the series. And like I said, just take notes. All right? So until next time, Lee Travathan. Be sure you go down and get your freebies from me down in the description box. Look at my PayHip link and you can go and get freebies from me there. All right? I'll catch you next time. Stay safe. Be well. Bye.